everybody, welcome back to another edition of Homemade, and today you all, we are making, you guessed it, it is a very simple recipe. Now, today we are having baked fish and rice. So I'm going to show you how I like to bake my fish. Now, I know some people don't like the baked fish version, but I promise you, if you give this recipe a try, you will like it. Now, for this recipe, I am using tilapia. If you want to use whiting, salmon, whatever preference of fish you want to use, I promise you, this works. If you'll notice, I don't even have a lot of ingredients for this recipe. I have my spices, which is 1 tablespoon of garlic powder, 1 tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of paprika. I also have a tablespoon of seafood seasoning, which is the Red Lobster brand. I have a tablespoon of my Cajun seasoning, and I also have 1 teaspoon of ginger. Just that simple. Those are our spices that we're going to use. In here, I have 2 cups of Italian dressing, and we are going to top it off with our V's herb blend. Now, the first thing we're going to do, and I've already washed my fish and everything, and if you don't want to use tilapia, I know some people don't like tilapia. I personally like it. Now, you're going to take your fish and you want to make sure that you are placing it into your baking dish the flat side down. That's really important because we're not going to flip this fish or anything like this. So, I'm going to cook 6 pieces. And again, flat side down. If you have to stack them a little bit, that's fine, but you don't want to stack them totally on top of each other because you want that seasoning to get down into all of your fish. So, I have my fish layered in my baking dish. My Italian dressing, this is just a regular Italian dressing. If you want to use zesty, that is fine. I'm going to pour that over my fish. And you want to make sure that all of your fish is covered in the dressing. Okay. Now we are going to just sprinkle on our spices. And if you'll notice, I didn't singly, season each piece of fish. And if you don't use all of your seasonings, that is totally fine. Because I promise you, once it starts to bake, your fish is going to soak up the seasonings. Now we're going to take our herb blend and just sprinkle it on there, because once it starts to cook, the Italian dressing is going to evaporate some, and just by sprinkling the herb blend on there, it just gives the fish a pretty presentation when you take it out the pan. All right, we're going to cover this with some foil. We want to make sure that it is sealed really good. We are going to pop this into the oven at 375 degrees for 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. I cannot stress that. You do not want to overcook your fish. Now, once we take it out, we are going to let it rest for about 5 or 10 minutes. Our fish has cooked, you all. It has rested for a few minutes. And this is our finished product. Just look at our fish. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to get a piece and put it onto my saucer. You can see it is really tender and it is hot, so I am going to blow it. And you remember when I told you that the fish will soak up all the seasonings? You all, it is so good. So flaky, so tender. It is so good. Now, I will say this. With my fish, it did take about 40 minutes, 45 minutes for it to actually cook through and through. I'm having a few issues with my oven, but that's why you want to check your fish. Again, you want to check it at that 25 minute mark, because if your oven cooks fast, and remember we are cooking this on 375 degrees, it typically only takes about 20 minutes. It also depends on the size of your fillets. It depends on how many you have. So all those things go into factor, but at the 20-minute mark, you do want to check it. Mine took, again, it took about 40 minutes for it to actually cook through and through where I was satisfied with it. Now, when you try this recipe, make sure you leave your comments in the comment section below. Let me know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, whatever, just let me know. If you want to keep seeing these easy homemade recipes, you all make sure you like, subscribe, and share the channel. I cannot stress this enough. Cooking is as easy or as hard as you make it. But I promise you, if you just keep it simple, be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.